What, we bought before, I didn't make it up.
Since we're apparently all on the phone.
Okay.
Yes, so what you need to do is handle it.
Okay, I'll catch it for you.
You'll not, you should grab Denise, so you exactly. Well, now I know.
I have my binder with me.
Oh, yeah. No, that, we should have people introduced by both. Oh, yeah.
Okay, here we go. First of all, I want to welcome everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I came up with this idea in my mind about a couple months ago. Is this, why don't I try it and see what kind of response we get? I talked to Rich, and this is the end here. Everybody seems to be in need of information. I don't think there's anybody who has more information than I do because I get it first source. Rich and I did a class like this 2 years ago in November. The club in Hawaii invited us, paid our expenses, and we spent a week, 5 days in Hawaii. So it was a little nicer than this here, but what can I say?
Nice start.
Okay, what we want to do is first thing, I want to introduce myself so you know who I am, what I do, and what I did do, and what I didn't do. So, I'm getting to the age where I retired twice already. First time I retired in the year 2000. My background is I started apprenticeship at Porsche cars in 1951, and as a graduation present I got a Vespa. And that's where all this shit started. So, you have to be pretty involved in it. 1951 to 1954, I served apprenticeship at Porsche and graduated with technical school and at the job in 1954. Came to the US in 1958 under a contract through Porsche in San Francisco. But they didn't need me, so they sent me to San Jose, and that's why I got stuck. So I stayed. I'm born in Hamburg, Germany, and I don't like big cities, so that was the perfect place at the time. I retired in the year 2000, and I got a phone call from Piaggio Vespa. They wanted to talk to me. I said, what do they want to talk about? You know, so anyway, and I got the word that they were going to come back to the US in the year 2000. And they were introducing at the time for the US legal market, they had two models, which was perfect. They had an ET2, a two-stroke 50, and they had the ET4 with the 150 air-cooled. That was it. They set up, the first year they set up 40, and that was also their new idea of doing Vespas, is setting them up in boutiques, like a boutique. Like they had all kinds of merchandise and $100 t-shirts and all this. Well, it turned out to be not the thing to do, but they realized that 5 years later. So anyway, so we had, so they talked to me, and I said, what do you want from me? He says, we need somebody, first of all, who knows the language as good as possible. who knows the United States and is involved with the scooter scene. So I said, so what do you want me to do? He says, do you have any teaching experience? I said, yes, I have teaching experience in teaching scuba diving. So I have 2 national certifications. And I said, I know how to talk to people as best as I can, and you know, maybe the language or some of the words are not right, but I don't care about that. Anyway, they understand somehow. So anyway, it says, so the guy from Piaggio in charge for the US says, so what would it take for you to come to work? And when can you come to work? I said, I can come to work in a couple of weeks. No problem. He says, how much? And I says, let me think. And I just grabbed the number. And the guy says, yeah. Stupid, I should have come on it. But the good thing ended up to be, they paid. First of all, I had to move to LA. The first thing they say, get an apartment or wherever you want to live. We pay for it. That worked good.
There you go.
Every expense, laundry, and for everything, buy furniture, TV, whatever you wanted, just get it. Give us the bill.
Awesome.
That worked. Yeah. So anyway, I did that 5 years. The first year I put away 100,000 miles. What I did is I set up a training program to do at a new boutique. Wherever they opened up a new boutique, I went by truck. I had a 3/4-ton pickup with all the factory tools, with all the factory books, and a scooter and 2 motors, an ET4 motor and an ET2 motor. So, and then I traveled to the US and got paid for whatever, laundry. I didn't even do laundry, I threw it away but new. Since they paid for it,
Might as well.
do it the easy way. I was drinking beer instead. So. Well, that worked out for 5 years, and we graduated probably by that time, probably close to 700 people. And whenever they opened up a boutique, they said, you know, I went there, and then later on, after the second year, they changed it because it became too much. So what Piaggio did at the time, they were in Costa Mesa. We had a big building. In the beginning, Piaggio had their own scooters in-house, the parts in-house, everything was done there. Now it's all split up. So that worked out pretty good. And then we set up a classroom with TV and everything perfect. And then the people had to come to Costa Mesa, and I teach normally between 8 and 15 people in a class. So that worked out pretty good. And there was people bringing their family with them and whatever. Who cares, you know, was no secrets. So that's what I did. And then I retired. I said, I helped you out for 2 years, but it ended up to be 5 years. After 5 years, everybody said, okay, Los Angeles is enough.
Yeah.
And said, okay, I'm going to retire again. Well, how about 1 week a month? I said, that works good. So for 5 more years, I worked 5 days or 4 or 5 days down there, and that worked out. Did the same thing, teach the classes. But except by now we had a lot more different products. Because you have to remember, Piaggio is the importer for Moto Guzzi, Aprilia, Vespa, and all the Piaggio products. So, you know, but I was only involved Vespa. I didn't even teach anything on Piaggio because I'm purist Vespa. So anyway,
So it was only the new stuff, or did you teach them on the old stuff too?
no, we did not teach anything on vintage.
Okay.
Zero vintage. 19 ET4 first came out, first year of ET4. The new model type of scooter came out at the 50th anniversary of Piaggio Vespa. Piaggio was established in the 1800s, so they're already over 120 years old. But that came out for the 50-year anniversary of the Vespa, which I participated in. I went myself and 5 guys from San Francisco, went San Francisco, New York, put the scooters on the plane in London. To London, went to the UK, went from the UK to Holland by ferry boat, and then all the way to Germany and Switzerland, and then into Italy to Rome to the 50-year anniversary. So that was just one of the small side trips.
Yeah,
Anyway.
small side trip.
Anyway, that's when the ET4 came out, and then to the US in the year 2000. So that's my, pretty much, there is, what else you should know is what kind of trips I do. I've been Europe, I've been Mexico, so I covered quite a few miles in my life. Some of the miles here, most of them at one time or another, even the car I owned, at one time or another, but always something, get something different or something new or whatever. I even owned a 1946, nobody ever owned one in the US except me. And I think there's still the world record. It's sold to a guy in San Diego for $50,000. I restored it here. And just so people talk about vintage, I just laugh about it. They don't even know what vintage is because there's a big happening in the scooter scene between the vintage guys and the new guys. But they don't know shit. That's the way I tell.
This is so much.
Okay. What we're gonna do today is we're gonna give you as much information as you need or want or whatever. We're gonna cover, and this is what we're gonna do, is we're gonna do a full service and talk about certain things on a real scooter. We're gonna point out what is what in case something goes wrong or something you have to do. We're gonna cover everything. We want to know, and we'd like you to, here's some pencils. We'd like for you to write notes so you can look back onto it. We try to, like I said, we try to cover everything. I'm not here to make a mechanic out of you, but at least if you take it someplace and somebody tells you something, at least you have an idea what they talk about. At the time, the way these things are, at $120 an hour, that's what the dealerships get. I don't know why, but that's what they get. And unfortunately, at times you're stuck to take your scooter to a dealer and, pay them whatever they say, unfortunately. That is one of the big drawbacks, and that's one of my reasons I started this class. I try to make the people a little smarter, to because they get the way I see it, and I've been in dealerships, I own businesses and everything else. People get laid away because they charge you $50 for an oil change, and the guy who does it makes maybe $7.50 an hour, but you pay $120 an hour for them. It doesn't work. So they're gonna hate me once they find out I've been doing this. I don't give a shit.
Love it.
That is the way, that's one of the reasons I'm doing this. Because, first of all, you got a passion. I can see you have a passion for the product because that's why you're here. I have a passion for the product since the first day I saw one. That was in 1946. I was 10 years old. So, you know, that's what it is all about. And if you have any type of questions, there is certain tools which can be, you can make them yourself or have somebody make it. But you need all this information to get eventually that you, what I like to see is that you can do some basic stuff yourself. Because that's why I'm all into this. All right? Okay, now, the next thing.